We are pleased to say that the family that were reported missing to police on the 13th of September are now located safe and well. I can confirm that Tom, Jada, Ember and Maverick are home and doing well. Police kept an open mind throughout this investigation over the last couple of weeks. We were notified yesterday morning of a sighting of a male and children on a bike on Mangatoa Road. After the sighting, police deployed a fixed-wing plane and drones to the area, but the family was not located. We were then notified this morning that the family had returned to the family farm. Police are speaking with the family at the moment to clarify movements over the last couple of weeks. I want to thank a huge range of people and resources that have been involved in this search since the 13th of September. I want to acknowledge my police colleagues from Search and Rescue, our investigators and many other police staff that were involved in this search. To all the staff from the various organisations who are involved, Landsar, Fire and Emergency New Zealand, Coast Guard, Surf Lifesavers and many more, thank you. Your time and dedication in this search in very challenging terrain has been immense. We are also grateful to the local community and iwi for your support throughout this difficult time. I'm happy to take questions.
What is the thinking behind the disappearance?
We are in the early stages and working through what has occurred. My colleagues are currently speaking with the family to establish all of the facts.
Can you just clarify, when you say there was a sighting yesterday morning of a male and children on a bike, can you elaborate on that sort of setup?
Yeah,
One bike, two bikes, missing motorbike.
We rely on our community as our eyes and ears, and particularly in this search. We were contacted by a local member of the community who was driving through the Kirikahiri area, who observed a male and 3 children on a bike and contacted police. We followed up on that information, and as a result we obviously deployed some air assets to try and help identify whether the family were in fact in that area.
At the moment, are the kids in Dad's custody?
The kids are safe and well with family.
Do you have any concerns about Tom's mental wellbeing?
I'm not going to go into that.
So the family were known to be in that area, the wider whānau were known to be in the Kirikahiri area. Was he there around other whānau? Did they know that he was there?
We're working through all the facts at the moment. What we do know is that the area that they were likely living in was about 15 kilometres south of where the ute had been left on Kirikahiri Beach.
But, was there whānau, extended family, where they were found, or close to where they were found?
No.
Did anyone know of Tom's plans over the past 2 weeks?
And that's part of what we're doing at the moment. We're working through all the information. We're speaking to family, we're speaking to Tom and establishing all the facts about what has occurred, and that enables us to work through the information and make an appropriate decision.
Do you know how they survived? What did they do?
Again, that's part of what my colleagues are doing at the moment, is speaking to Tom and the kids.
Is there any evidence they were finding shelter, staying in a batch, anyone helping them?
Yeah, so what we do know is that they were using a tent. They were in dense bush area, and that's kind of the initial information we've got around their living situation over the last couple of weeks. Again, we don't know if they were in one location or if they had moved around the area, but what we do know is that the family were living in some form of tent in dense bush area.
So Tom was a known, a well-experienced outdoorsman. Yep. In regards to like eating, living, drinking, and the rest of it. Do you know much detail about that?
Again, my colleagues are speaking with Tom and the family at the moment about that. We know from the family, and we knew from our search that he was an experienced bushman and had the capability to look after himself in the bush area.
So was the tent taken with them in the ute, and then the ute was abandoned? Is that the thinking, and they trooped off into the bush?
Again, we're working through those facts at the moment so that we can build a really accurate timeline of what they had access to and how the ute fits into the situation.
How was their condition, like in regards to their health?
Yeah.
And have you seen them?
My colleagues have, and they are safe and well. The kids are happy.
Psychologically, they're fine.
Yeah, the kids are safe and well. Yeah.
How
They're
far-
supported by whānau at the moment.
Sorry, how far away do you think they were camping from the area where the search for the land search was undertaken?
So the search for the family was extensive. We had a number of search locations of interest, which included bush area, a large amount of farm area, the ocean, and we covered that area by way of landsar, work on foot, aerial searches, drones. Everything was utilised to try and find the family. As part of that, we prioritised what areas were of interest that we needed to thoroughly search, and the location of where they were is an area that was part of our search area, and that was covered aerially by way of a Coast Guard plane.
Roughly speaking, how many man hours and the cost of the search, do you have an idea of that?
No, not at this stage.
Are charges likely to follow?
Again, we're working through all the information we have to establish the facts, and once we've come to that, we'll make an appropriate decision.
You were missing 2 motorbikes, and obviously there was a sighting of the family on a bike. Were they on a motorbike, a bike, or did you ever recover the 2 missing bikes?
So, again, the importance of community in these types of search operations. Community came to us with one of the motorbikes had been on-sold, but early information indicates that the family had possession of the second motorbike that we had appealed for information about.
So the aerial search of where you understand they might be camping, would they have been discovered, do you think, if it had been canvassed on foot, if they'd been searched on foot, that area?
Again, if you've been out there, that's dense bush area, significant amount of area that we had to cover, and that's including, bear in mind where they were likely, that was 15 kilometres south of where that ute was, and we were exploring numerous possibilities in terms of where they could be.
Can you just take us through from the family being on the bike to them coming into contact with the police and being spoken to? Can you just take us through the chain of the sequence there?
Yeah, so we received information yesterday morning that there had been a sighting of a male and 3 children on a bike. This was at about 5:30 a.m. in the morning, which was unusual. Because we've had a team of dedicated investigators working on this in the background, they have been following up all these lines of inquiry and information from the public. Based on that information, we deployed aerial assets as well as drones to that area to ensure that all huts and bush area had been searched. At that point, it didn't turn up any of the family. Following that search, family have arrived on the family farm this morning after coming out from the area that they had been for the past couple of weeks.
Two areas?
Pardon?
How far apart are those 2 areas where they were seen yesterday and where they rocked up today?
Yeah, approximately 5 kilometres.
Do you think they knew they were seen yesterday morning?
And again, that's part of what my colleagues are doing at the moment is speaking to the family to establish all these facts so we can work through that information.
Do you think Tom didn't want to be found over the past 2 weeks, given that there were no signs of their whereabouts?
And that's part of one of the scenarios that we've always explored, and that's why we've had a dedicated team working towards all scenarios that were possible. And like I've said, my colleagues are speaking with Tom and the family now to work through what was happening.
So what sort of bike, when you say they were seen on a bike?
Again, the description of the bike was very generic. We're just working through as to whether it's the bike that we have outstanding or whether it was another bike.
What was the approach of the police, though, if you've done aerial searching, you've put up drones? Who made contact? Was it a formal approach? Was it a cautious approach to the family? And to the first exchange with Tom, who made that and how did it play down?
So the police had no contact with Tom until this morning when family notified us that they had arrived on the family farm.
Where is Tom at the moment?
He's with family.
And what do you think they ate? What was the food supply if they had a tent? What else do you think they had with them?
Yeah, and that's we've got all those questions. I've got those questions myself. So my colleagues are working through that at the moment, and once I have that information, that's going to help us establish what's actually occurred and how they've managed to, eat and survive for the last 17 days.
Have the children been to hospital? Have they been checked out medically?
The children are fine. Yeah.
But have they been to a doctor? Did you have them?
All the
checked out?
appropriate support has been provided to the kids.
We know that the children are safe and well. What's Tom like, his condition at the moment, his state?
Yep. Again, Tom's talking with our police staff.
So is it fair to say, are you sort of implying that when they left, or last seen on the Saturday, they travelled, they went 15 kilometres south, were they all on this, transported around on this one bike?
Again,
to get so far away so quickly?
Yeah, and that's forming part of our, the background we're trying to establish now, the facts that we're working through as to whether, how they had transport, what they used to get around, and what their movements were and when.
Do you think they were assisted by anybody else?
Again, we're working through all that information at the moment, and I don't want to speculate.
Could you just take us through how the police are working with the children? They obviously have information you want and they're very young. Who is dealing with them and how are they being interviewed?
Yep, so with the children, our main priority for them is that they're safe and well and that they're supported by family, which includes the grandparents as well. Once we've had time for the family to speak with each other, and obviously, this has been really hard on a number of these family members, and once they've had time to process what's occurred, then we will work with the family and the kids as well to establish what's occurred while they've been out in the bush.
Has Tom indicated why he left the ute where it was?
Again, that's what we're working through with the family today and Tom.
When police are usually dealing with missing people for such a long time, we're talking 17 days, how would you sort of normally think of their chances of survival this long out in the sort of conditions they have dealt with over that time?
Yeah, it's we were working on a number of scenarios, and we had a dedicated team of police staff, volunteers, our other agencies, community and iwi, all focused on the end goal, which is bringing the family home alive. And for that to occur, there's absolute, many people are ecstatic about that. So I don't know if that answers you.
Yeah, I guess the chances of them actually coming out of this alive, like they obviously were.
We always held out hope that the family were alive. We utilise the services of experts in terms of scenarios if the family had gone into the ocean, as to the likelihood that we would see clothing and other items. And once we'd got to a point where those items hadn't presented, we started to ensure that we were following all other scenarios that were possible.
Is there a formal police interview in process, or has it been undertaken by police with Tom?
Currently, my colleagues are speaking with Tom at the family home.
How extraordinary is this, I guess, that he simply walked in front door?
It is extraordinary. It was a scenario that we always had hoped. In reality, we wanted Tom, the family, to be alive. To happen this way is, it's fantastic for the family. This is a family that experienced 17 days of hell, really. This is a community that experienced 17 days of hell, wondering what had happened to this family and these children. So for it to, the outcome to be what we always wanted, it's fantastic.
You spoke about Tom being in dense bush, which was identified by an aerial search. Just wondering, was there any consideration in utilising local knowledge, whānau support from Te Here, Marapuka, and in deploying those resources to the land search, and if not, why not?
Yeah, I want to acknowledge our Marapuka whānau iwi. We have been greatly supported. I can't speak highly enough of the support we've had. Guidance from Matuahimi, guidance from many locals in terms of spots that we needed to check. So we've been very lucky that we've had great support from community and iwi, and that guidance has really assisted our searches.
What time did police find out that the family walked back onto the farm?
Early this morning, I got the phone call at about 8 o'clock.
Sorry, if I can just go back again.
Yeah.
So we know that he was located in dense bush.
Yep.
He was found with the aerial searches was involved there. Why did the police not utilise the local support of whānau to send that expertise of that area into the dense area to try and locate Tom and his tamarahi?
Yeah, we had a number of, you can imagine that, you know the area. So we, like any search, we identify and prioritise where we have to go first, and that's based on the facts that are known. We are regularly reassessing that information. So we utilised whānau, iwi, in terms of different spots along that coastline in that bush area. I'm not sure at this stage whether that location was canvassed, but we had great support for many locations throughout the Marakopa, Kiritihiri area.
And with that, does it appear that possibly Tom and his tamariki were actually moving around in that area over the last few weeks, few days?
We're working through all the information and trying to establish those facts to help us build a picture of what's happened over the last 17 days.
What
Just
have,
a couple more questions, guys.
what have whānau said to you about their reappearance?
They're just ecstatic that the family at home. Yeah. To be able to deliver that news to this whānau is what everyone working on this wanted to do, and to be able to achieve that for this morning is fantastic.
And how hopeful was your team that this would be the outcome?
This is what we do, in terms of policing. We're always hopeful and dedicated to bringing answers to this whānau, and we always held out hope that we'd be able to bring the family home alive.
And when do you think you'll have a clearer picture of all the events at the site, a fuller picture?
Well, at this stage, it may take some time to work through all the information we need to gather from the family, community, and just work through what we're starting to learn from some of the stuff today.
Anything else?
I guess just, going forward, what sort of support is going to be offered, especially to these kids, because this is 17 days in the bush. Is there any sense they even have an understanding of just what's happened to them? What kind of support are they going to be getting after this?
Yeah, we'll make sure that support is wrapped around the family. And my colleagues have said the kids are happy. They're well. They're speaking with my colleagues. They're playing like children do. So, but we'll make sure that family has all the wraparound support that they need, particularly the children.
And how is the children's mother, and what's her response been to this?
Relieved. Yeah. My colleague's been able to make that phone call to her this morning. Was just a sense of relief from mum that her children are alive.
And has she seen them?
Yes.
And where will they stay tonight, do you know?
Right. Thank you. Thanks everyone.